For the first time in over 25 years, Yamaha has just released a brand new sport bike, the YZF R9. As European Euro 5 emissions regulations have ended production of the acclaimed R1 and R6, Yamaha intends to fill the gap with the new R9, officially announced on October 9, 2024. Is more displacement more better? The R9 is constructed around the 890cc CP3 inline 3-cylinder motor from the MT09. This engine will produce considerably more torque than the Yamaha R6 at 68 foot-pounds instead of 45, but it is expected to have similar horsepower to the R6. Some people are a little bit disappointed by the rumors that the CP3 engine in the R9 is going to make 117 horsepower, the same as the MT09. And that's because the MT09 is meant to be more of a street bike, and the R9 is marketed as more of a race bike or a bike that you could take to the track. It makes sense that the MT09 would have pretty healthy torque and horsepower throughout the rev range, whereas it was expected that they would retune the engine for the R9. Whether or not they have done this is a little bit unclear at this moment, but in the future we will know. Additionally, the red line for the CP3 engine in the Yamaha R9 will be around 10 to 11,000 RPM. While the 3-cylinder setup in this engine does produce a unique note, the engine sound might not be as striking as the screaming 17,000 RPM redline from the Yamaha R6. The CP3 will also be paired with Yamaha's acclaimed chip control throttle, which will aid in applying smooth power throughout the torque curve. Importantly, in addition to being able to accelerate relatively quickly, the Yamaha R9 will also hopefully be able to stop very quickly. On the front, the Yamaha R9 will be fitted with a Brembo Stylema front brake caliper working with a 320mm disc. The brakes on the Yamaha R9 are expected to be superior to most other Yamaha sport bikes, hopefully learning from the mistakes of the Yamaha R1, which is often critiqued for its poor braking performance. So, what sort of gizmos can you expect on the Yamaha R9? Well, for one, you'll be able to connect your smartphone, whereas my Yamaha R6 doesn't even have a fuel gauge. The R9 will have systems including a 4-level power delivery mode, a 9-level lean sensitive traction control system, a 3-level lift control system, 3-level slide control system, 2-level engine brake management, back slip regulator, lean sensitive brake control system, launch control, a rear ABS off function, and a bi-directional quick shifter. Oh, and also cruise control. As for the suspension of the Yamaha R9, it will have fully adjustable KYB front and rear shocks. Additionally, Yamaha claims that they have created their lightest ever motorcycle frame. And the Yamaha R9 will also use the swing arm from the MT09. With that being said, the look of the Yamaha R9 is more comparable to the YZF R6 and the YZF R1. On the topic of riding position, the R9 is considered more street friendly than the aggressive posture of the R1 and R6, but it's still sportier than the upright position on the R7. The seat height on the Yamaha R9 is about 1 inch lower than the R6 and also a little bit lower than the R1 and R7. So, how does the Yamaha R9's appearance reflect its purpose? At first glance, the R9 reflects similar styling to other Yamaha sport bikes such as the R7, R6, and R1. However, there are a few unique characteristics. For one, the R9 does have its exhaust routed underneath the bike, in the same way that it is on the MT-09. Additionally, in a trend which has continued with many supersports, the R9 will be fitted with winglets at the front. Lastly, the R9 does have a Suzuki-style headlight, which can also be seen on the Yamaha R7. The three color choices for the Yamaha R9 are Yamaha Blue, Raven Black, lastly, Intensity White, and Redline Red. The last Yamaha sport bikes to be released were the Yamaha R1 in 1998 and the Yamaha R6 in 1999. Therefore, it has been about 25 years since the last Yamaha sport bike, making this bike a historically significant release into the market. The price for the 2025 Yamaha R9 will be $12,499 MSRP in the United States. This price is comparable to the price that Yamaha had given for the Yamaha R6 when it was still in production for street use. When comparing the R9 to competitors, there are a few main competitors that you may consider. One of the most immediate competitors to come to mind would be the Triumph Daytona 660, and that is mainly due to the similar 3-cylinder engine that resides in the Daytona 660. The R9 is expected to have higher torque due to the higher displacement, and it's expected to have slightly higher horsepower. Also, it'll be slightly lighter, however, it will be a little bit more expensive than the Daytona 660. Other bikes that may be compared with the R9 would include the Suzuki GSX-8R, which has a 776cc parallel twin engine. The Suzuki is about 22 pounds heavier and slightly underpowered in comparison to the R9 at 91 horsepower and 57 pound-feet of torque. However, the bike does come in at slightly under $10,000, so it is a little bit more affordable than the R9. However, the Suzuki GSX-R 750 may also be compared with the R9, and the GSX-R 750 comes in at 148 horsepower through its inline 4-cylinder engine. It's also slightly lighter than the R9, produces similar torque, and is almost the exact same price. However, the main improvement of the R9 over the GSX-R 750 is that the R9 has many more electronic controls and electronic gizmos, if you want to put it that way. So, when can we expect to see the Yamaha R9? Well, orders for the Yamaha R9 have already begun. However, dealers are expected to receive the first shipments of R9s in March of 2025. So, Julia, what would you take, the R9 or the R6?
Neither. I want to eat the microphone.
I was super excited by this historic news. Please let me know in the comments below if you prefer this informative approach or if you prefer my typical cruising content. Happy yapping or cruising, whatever you decide.
How do you feel about
I gotta clean the toilets.
the new European emissions regulations?
Bleh!